What's up, all my Power Addicts crew? Working on my 91 today, and this right here is our subject. And I'm shooting the intro right after I get finished with everything, because obviously I want to show you what the video's about. And if you guys look real close, I'm getting rained on, so I got to do this quick. We're doing a soundbar today. We're installing speakers into it. We're rewiring for the interior light, for the dome light, and we're upgrading the dome light to LED. Check it out. Wrong way. Yay! Look at it, nice and bright. So everyone, if you haven't subscribed to the Power Addicts YouTube channel, be sure to subscribe, because I do a lot of cool videos. So everyone, let's get on with this. Peace. Roll. Let's take out these speakers first. Phillips head screwdriver. I believe the speakers are shot. Get underneath it and pry it up. So I'm going to cut the wires here and here. Save that plug just in case I decide to use it. I may use it, may not, who knows. But mostly what I'm looking at this point, I want to see what size speaker I can cram in right here, because I've got magnet, these, and these. Now we'll see which ones I can get crammed in there. So give me some cutters, cut that off. Now that we've got the factory speaker out of the way, we can kind of see a little bit what we've got to work with. We got a metal frame underneath back here. You know, it's a round hole where the magnet dropped through. So let's try what this feels like. You got two things you got to really accommodate for whenever you are trying to cram bigger speakers in a place that they were not originally intended for. Two things that would be is that, one, of course, your diameter. We may have to take this, we're going to have to cut this open a little wider. So if we're going to cram these babies in there, we're going to cut that open wider. You know what? Why go with this? Well, you might be able to fit that. So obviously this is hitting over here on the metal frame. Another thing you got to take into account for as well is your depth. How much room do you have to play with from this lip here to the bottom down here, because you can bottom your speakers out and you can't go no further. You know what? There's only one way to find out what you really got to work with. Right now we're fighting around all this pad and not sure what's inside there. So let's take the rest of the gadgets off the soundbar. So the next thing we got here is the light. So we'll take that light out, take the speaker out, then we'll take this cover off. We'll really see what we got to work with then. Spider, spider, no, go away. Okay, to get this light out of here, take your screwdriver and gently, gently, gently. Here's your on and off switch here, okay? Gently pry that back just a little bit. You'll get those tabs above this black frame. If you get too overzealous, you're going to break your lens. Not cool. Set that out of the way. Now what we got is the black bezel here. They've got locking tabs downside here, here, there, and there. Work with them easy. Let's see if you can work them out of there. Pry up on them. Take your thumb, pull up. Let me zoom back a little bit. Get over here on this one. Pry that one up a little bit, pull up, then come over here on this one. That one pops loose. Now just gently so you don't break anything now. There. Then once you get all four of those loose, pick up on this, and there you go. And here's what you got to deal with. Those little tabs right there, and they got little hooks right here. So you just want to flex them enough that they come unhooked from this plastic body here. Don't get crazy and break them. Oh, if you guys didn't notice what I did, I just simply kind of pushed the end on it and pulled up at the same time, which worked it right out of there, which gives us our wiring harness here for the lighting. But now that we got this bezel out of the way, we need to get this other speaker out of the way that's up this way, and we should be able to take the cover off. So you guys seen how I took the first speaker out, so I'm going to take this one out. So now what we're going to do is we're going to compare the Chrysler speaker to Metro Auto Works, which one has a deeper mounting depth. Take your magnets and line up with your mounting flange, and you can see that the factory Chrysler speaker here has a much, well, you can say much, it has a deeper mounting depth. Why do I care? Simply because if I have to order custom speakers to go into this soundbar because of the depth of the mounting, I want to be able to use, I want to have a speaker to measure from to see from flange here to the back of the magnet how much room I've got to play with right here. So keep the deeper of the two. We might just need for dimensional purposes. Here's our zipper to remove the cover from the soundbar, and this ain't being a 93 model. Well, this come out of Rust Bucket, which is a 93 model. Come through here and boom, it don't want to pull right there. But why? It's got junk all in the teeth of the zipper. WD-40 to the rescue. Now it's not so much as about, you know, lubricating the zipper teeth as it is just cleaning the junk out of there. Just rub it in there good and see if we get lucky on it now. Come on. There we go. It's still being cranky. There we go. Got this far with it, going with it, and right there's the end of your zipper, but you really don't need to go that far. You just need to go enough that you can take the cover off, which ends right there. Okay, once you get the zipper pulled back, take your cover, bring it back over this way, and you need to do this all the way down through here as well. That's what you want to take back. You come forward this way, pulling it out. Of course, it's going to be a little bit sticky here where the screws went through. Pull that loose. Then once you get this side pulled off all the way around, you'll be able to take it over these brackets here. Now we'll talk about the foam here in a moment. Get the cover off first. And once the cover's unwrapped from the from the soundbar all the way down, take the cover, bring it on over. There's your bracket. Just work it off that, like such, and get the other end, and you'll have the cover off, like such. So sweet. Now let's measure the depth we've got to play with here. Take it and move your wire out of the way. We're looking at about, yeah, we'll call it 2 inches. So, magnet. So our factory Chrysler speaker is about 1 inch and 7/8. Let's look at our round speaker. Come off that flange right there. Shuffle close. Come off that. 2 3/8 roughly. Too deep. Look at our 4x6. That's like 2 1/4, so it's a little bit shallower. So I really prefer the 4x6s anyway. But we're going to have to do some mods to make that work. That daggone razor blade keeps getting in there. So, okay, magnet goes down the side there. Of course, then our electrical connector here bottoms out there. We've got enough room on the side here to probably make it swing for the roll bar. But if we're going to do any cutting on the metal anyway, what I would suggest doing, instead of just making another perfect round hole or another hole just to center it here, go ahead and move your speaker this way a little bit. So whenever you cut the hole, we'll move it out this way to get that in there. Now, some people's going to want to put bigger speakers in, some people don't. Totally your call. I mean, if you want to put another set of 4-inch speakers in there, go for it. But I've just never been my nature to leave anything alone. I mod everything I touch. So, I don't know. See, what kind of I pulled these out of a junkyard car. I was having one of those sale days, and well, there you go. These cones aren't in too bad a shape, but I don't have a grill cover for them. So I may have to do a little Amazon shop and see if I can find me a set of speakers that less depth here, and therefore I have all the grills and everything as well. Now that I've got speakers, let's get back on this thing. It's been about a week since I worked on it because I was really wanting some new speakers to go in here, but I was having a problem finding here local speakers that wasn't too deep. I don't mind opening this hole up right here to accommodate for bigger speakers, but what I wasn't wanting to do is make it have to this layer here to go into it. So I did find some 5x7s that we will be opening this up like this. Also got me some more wire for that to wire this up to. Oh, that came off. That right there wraps around the end here. That's all right. We can put it back on. Need to straighten that out. It's all water jawed. But I got me some more wire. Ordered me an LED light to go in here so it's nice and bright. Peel this back, see where the wire goes in. Speaker wire goes across. This right here's the wire to your light. And the speaker wire continues all the way across and goes in down there into this little waterproof bushing looking contraption here, I guess. And you got 3 wires to run your light. Of course, you can see you got red, yellow, and then your black here comes out the ground, because whenever you mount this back to your roll bar becomes ground for your light. Gosh, that stuff is sticky nasty. So, alright, so I'm going to give me some lengths of wire, get everything measured out to where I want it, because I want it long enough, come from here, down. Let me hand up here on you. I want it to come down that roll bar right there, and they've got my wire loom you see right here. So therefore I can tie it into the, run inside that loom, which runs down through here along the driver's side door and up into the dash. That's my plan. So I'm gonna get my wire measured out. To make my wire measurements really quick and easy, I just simply tie it off to that tube right there. This is the speaker wire for that speaker over on the passenger side. Allow it to run this way. Drip over top of that bar there. Let it drop down. And it comes right about here. This is where the factory harness comes in right here. Comes down here. There's the wire. Here's your factory harness. It runs under your driver's side door. That's my lug wrench. Then it kind of comes up this way. And I cut the wire off long enough that the wire will go under the dash and go over to where the radio is going to be. So now I take the rest of my wires. Well, untie this one off that bar, pull it down, make the rest of my wires that length. But by making it that long, of course, where the lights are going to be here, those will be a little too long. I'm going to use part of the factory harness inside the light bar anyway. Of course, it'll make this speaker wire too long a lot, but you see right there, I'll put that little bend in the wire. That's where I'm going to cut my other wire off there for the speaker. So therefore, I don't have a bunch of crazy excess for no good reason. So there you go. I'm going to pull that wire back out and use it to measure out the rest of my wire. Wire tip time. You know how you take and roll your wire up like it's right here, just like you set it down. The crap come on spools. Next thing you know, you pull it out of your wire drawer, your toolbox, whatever, and it's just a jumbled mess. If you take your wire, pull out a little length of it, feed it through here like so, bring it back around here. See how it holds that? Then you take the wire, tie it over on itself like this, just overhand knot. Ta-da! Look at that. Ain't going nowhere. So next time you pull it out of your wire drawer, toolbox, whatever, you're not going to have a spaghetti mess trying to untangle everything. There's your wire tip for the moment. Okay, as I mentioned a moment ago, the interior light on this thing, you got one red wire, one yellow wire. Well, I've got yellow and I've got red. But for the kicks and giggles, and just in case I want to put something else in, I'm going to run a blue wire as well. Of course, I'm going to have each one of the speaker wires. Then I'm going to have 3 wires, one red, one yellow for the light existing. And I don't know, I've kind of got this thing I'm thinking about putting in like some color lights or something like that for a little bit of mood ambiance type thing. So just in case I decide to do that, that's why I want to run a blue wire, just in case I decide to do something like that. So, another thing, you guys may end up calling me out on something. Those of you who really know your YJs, take my camera off here. Now factory, when the sound bar is installed, the wiring runs down the passenger side, then forward. Yes, that's, I mean, here it is. Here's your wiring coming out. This is your hooks. It goes over top of the roll bar here. There's your mounting holes. So, yes, it goes down the passenger side. I want it to run down the driver's side because I want it to run into the factory looming here and really just kind of minimize all the extra wiring contraption stuff going everywhere. So, this kind of, because I've still got my padding. I haven't put on my roll bars yet, so I want to try to tuck all my wiring inside the padding and run that through there so it's not going to be seen. So that's my plan. That's what I'm going with. And also, if you notice too, look right there behind the roll bar here, there's no place to really tuck the wiring in unless you tie it to the roll bar coming down. But you got this looming here, or this cover, whatever you call it. You can come off the roll bar here and go right inside that and then come down if you want to. So, I don't know, just because my factory wiring's running over here, I want to tuck the rest of the wiring in with it, try to minimize all the jacketing and all this stuff running right everywhere. So, let's do this. Now remember our wiring storage trick. Give us a little length, feed it through, hook it on the far side, pull it tight. Ta-da! No bird's nest. Sweet! Now I'm not 100% sure how well this is going to work on this next trick I'm going to show you. If you take your wire and make sure you got all your strands separated as best as possible. I mean, the more you get, if they're all wrapped up, intertwined with each other, this little trick doesn't work quite as well. So you separate them, come back, then at the end, tape it off. Now what I'm going to do now is go get my battery powered drill, and I'll be right back. We're going to try something. Now before you chuck your wire up in the drill, you've got these wires taped off. Well, you got two sticking out here because they're not quite even length. What you want to do is get down here, cut all three of them off even length. Boom, like that. See? Okay, go get the drill. Now take your wire. Where I've run it 3, it's going to work out really well because each one of the fingers of the chuck here gets in between each one of the wires. Don't do like you do a drill bit, hold this right here and spin it, because you don't want to do that quite yet. Get the wire tucked in there like that. Go ahead and tighten down your chuck. You ain't got to crank it hard. You just want enough that whenever you put a little tension on it, it's not going to pull out. Now here's the moment of truth. What we're going to do is I'm going to pull the trigger on the drill. Now I've done this with short lengths of wire and it works great with short lengths. This is a pretty good little run here. I'm not sure how this is going to work out, but we're about to find out. Okay. There'll come a point whenever you're cranking that, you're spinning your drill, that you'll feel the wire start to pull towards you because of the twist is actually trying to pull the wire shorter. That's when you're about there. Right there, I feel the pull. So let's see how well this works. Like I said, that's a long run of wire right there to try to do this trick. But short runs, so we're talking probably 5 feet or so, it works really well. So, I'm going to take this thing out of the drill and see if it springs back on me. Or see if it comes unraveled, more like it. Now once you take it out of the drill and the wire goes back to relaxing, it'll still keep some of its twist somewhat, but really it depends on the type of wire you're using as well. Sometimes it holds the twist real well, sometimes it doesn't. But, like I said, if you got a short run, this works really well. In this case, it worked, but not as well as I was hoping for it to. So what I may do is, like every 2 feet, put me a wrap of electrical tape around it. Cool. Alright. So for right now, that's pretty much got our wiring set up. And if you guys wonder, I'm using 16 gauge wire. And I'll put a link down below in the description box and stuff of the wire and stuff that I've ordered for this stuff, for doing this project, so you guys can duplicate what I'm doing if you like. So now let's see what we can do about, gosh, that's just nasty right there, sticky. I'm gonna pull part of the wiring out of this, like this right here. I'm gonna use part of this, probably cut it about right along in here. And that speaker wire, I'm probably gonna go ahead and run that speaker wire run new and all the way over, because I don't like, I ain't gonna splice into all that. But this, I'm gonna use some male-female spade connectors to join them together side here that are insulated so it doesn't short out on anything. And plus a new speaker wire here. And we also got to cut our holes for the speakers. So let's cut our holes, then we'll worry about the wiring. Okay, speakers I'm using Soundstorm Laboratories. I mean, cheap and speakers. They were like 15 bucks for the pair. Now these speakers come with this little template right here, and they're perforated. So all you gotta do is pull that perforation out. We're gonna lay it across this right here and cut our hole open right on the inside ring of this. So I'm gonna get this thing popped out of there. Now I think I need to do is pop that center out, because that's where our cut line is gonna be. Out here is your frame. The outer part is your frame here. So that's basically gonna be saying, okay, if this dotted lines on the outside fit the area, you're good to go. But what we're worried about is the cut line, which this ring right here that I popped out is where this right here. So that's what we're worried about. We need to recess down inside there. So here is an edge of where our factory 4-inch was. Take your finger and kind of let it butt against it, because that keeps your inset this way. Eyeball center it. See, wrap a little bit, kind of see if it's centered. Okay, that's pretty close. And what I'm going to do now is just take my blade and kind of cut out the foam. Not completely cut out, I'm just more or less tracing it with the blade more than anything. Then I'll come back and cut that foam completely out and cut it back some. Okay, you can see right there where I took my blade, went around there, cut that foam. So I'm going to finish cutting that out. We'll be back with you in a moment. We got our foam cut out, and I just totally realized something. Of course, you know, I was showing you the speaker sitting there and all that fun stuff, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to pull the grill out, lay the grill up here, kind of center it up, see how it looked. Guess what? I didn't realize these speakers didn't even come with grills. So yeah, it's like wide open. When I put them in there, they're going to be wide open. So if you guys order speakers for your soundbar, make sure they come with grills. Okay, enough of that. So I've got this foam trimmed back. You can see my scribe line on the metal right here where I've kind of cut it for the foam. Kind of comes around this way. So what I'm going to do at this point is probably get my air saw, my die grinder with an air cutoff blade, and gently come around and just cut that ellipse out until, and I'll just kind of cut out little by little until this right here fits down inside there. But at this point you can also take your template, kind of lay it in there, look at it. And again, this is coming back to where it's kind of tangent to where the factory 4-inch is. So making that tangent, bring this out. Tangent means the edge of this circle and the edge of that 4-inch circle are directly in line right here. I used to work in engineering back in my younger days before I went into IT, so I was still kind of taught the language. So yep, okay, so we're looking good. Bring it around there. Bring it around like that. Sweet. Alright. I'm going to cut my, no, I'm just going to hold my foam back like this right here as I take my air to cut off tool, come around and cut that ellipse out. So ain't no need of recording a whole bunch of noise. I'm going to cut that out. Okay, now that I've got the hole cut open, I've kind of realized something. Maybe this wasn't the smartest idea. Meaning that I wanted definitely go bigger speakers, but maybe the 5x7s was a little bit overkill. Simply because, one, by the time I cut that metal out, this side's lower than this end, which tilts the speaker, not a big deal. But the magnet depth is hitting right here, so boom, it's sitting. I mean, right there's on the foam, and right there it's on the metal. So I've got this big huge gap going on between this. So yeah, well, the 4-inch fit, but you know, the 4-inch, if I've got something for mid bass, that'd been fine. So the 4-inch would have made a good mid-range tweeter type setup, which probably wouldn't be such a bad idea. And I could put 6x9s in the back on the wheel wells. But now that I've done cut it, I'm kind of no point of no return. So I think I've got some spacer rings that I'm going to put around this right here, which will jack it up a little bit. But I still got to find me some grills for these things. Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that. I think you can order aftermarket grills. We shall have to see. Alright, let me see if I got some spacers for these things. Okay, got these spacer rings which come off the front of these Servo Vegas here. I ripped these Servo Vegas out of another car, so therefore I didn't have grills because they're like door mounted or rear panel mounted or something like that. So I didn't have grills on them, unfortunately. But the cones are busted, so I used the grill ring or spacer ring to space these up. But here's the issue. Being that I went a little bit overkill, I've got some gap going on right here, so I'm going to shape the metal, bend it upward to see it against this ring. I got to flatten this out a little bit through here, so I can make it work. But to be honest with you people, I think the 5x7s are a bit too big. But you know what? I've done cut them, so hey, I'm going to make it work at this point. I think your optimal size. Now you can put the 4 inches back in. But I mean, you get some quality 4s. That way, you got the woofer itself has a good long throw. And what I mean by that, this is your cone or your woofer cone right here, or base cone or whatever you guys want to call it. A long throw, which means this cone surface has a lot of excursion or lots of travel back and forth. The reason you want that is it carries your mid bass and your bass better. Now, from a small 4-inch, you got such little cone surface area, you're not going to have a whole lot of bass. So what would be optimal would be, if you was to stay with the 4-inch, go right here, get you some quality, you know, pay the money, get you some quality ones that got a good long throw excursion on them that will give you your mid bass. Then you take your solid set 6x9s, put them back on your rear fenders to carry your bass and some, you know, fill in some of the mids as well. So again, yeah, I think I kind of screwed up, but you know what? I'm going to do it anyway. I'm at this, I mean, I've already cut it this far, so no need to stop it now. So I'm going to pull that up a little bit to seal it here. And once I get everything pretty well flat, I'll probably get my holes pre-drilled for my screws to go in. But since I've done messed up that side, cut the 5x7, might as well mess up this side. And the wiring of our soundbar, as I mentioned earlier, red yellow is for the interior light, and it used to run from over to that side, because remember what I mentioned, I said that the wiring used to go down the passenger side of the roll bar. I'm bringing it down the driver's side because I want it to go into the factory harness that runs back to your tail lights, so I can use all that loom. What we have here is the speaker wire. Now, the speaker wire I showed you guys a while ago that I ran across my roll bar to run up front. That is a 16 gauge wire. This right here looks like it's probably closer to an 18 because of that right there. So, but what I like about these, you've got this little grommet right here that snaps in right there. Now here's the deal. If I was running some solid woofers that would require a lot of power and a lot of high amperage and stuff like that, I would probably go with the heavier gauge wire. But what I'm thinking about doing is go ahead and popping this right here, cutting this, tying this straight to the speaker, then cutting this right here, tying it onto the new speaker wire. Therefore, I get to keep a grommet here, keeping it watertight and sealed. So also doing it on the other side, running your wire across underneath this right here, tying into the wiring harness over there. And also along with that. So I'm going to feed this back inside here. It tucks in, and a little jump pop, and it snaps right in. See? So now I'm going to tie my speaker wires on this right here. But I'm going to use male-female spade connectors, because therefore if I ever want to take the soundbar off, I don't have to pull all my wiring out or take my speaker out and pull it loose from the speaker and everything like that, to pull it out. So what I'm just going to basically do is a male-female speed connector on each side here, plug them up, same thing over there, and doing these the same way. Therefore, I can remove the sound bar and not have to pull my harness or anything like that. So I'll show you in just a moment. So whenever you're setting up your wires, pay attention to your polarity. If you look here, the white stripe on this wire is going to my green, which will be my positive side of my speaker. And this will tuck up inside there and lay flat down top of the middle right there. Then this foam will sit over top of that, making it all, you know, neat and tidy. Then I run the wire down this way. Now I got to go ahead and cut this. Just put it into this right here. So I'm gonna put the ends on. I'll tuck the wires up inside this right here, and we'll put the cover back on. I've taken a little piece of electrical tape and taped the foam because the edges keep wanting to roll under. And looks like that one popped off, so I gotta fix it. See how the edges are wanting to roll under like that? I'm having to flatten them out. Tape them down, so I need to do that one as well. So I get the cover on, hopefully it'll lay as flat as possible. Got the wiring all tucked underneath here, coming off the ends right here. So I want to tape that down, so if we get that cover, manipulate it on. We get the cover back on, now we got the soundbar facing with the light up towards you because of the way the cover goes back on. Lay it across it like this because here is where these go through. So lay it over, tuck that in like that, tuck that in like that, and kind of pick your fabric up and lay it down over top of it because it's got a, for your light, it's got all tucked inside there because that's going to snap back in. Now, of course, your speaker holes there, because we cut them out to those big old 5x7s, we got to do some trim work on that here in a little bit. So once you get this set on there, you get ready to wrap it over. So it's going over here. Okay, once we get that position, you can just kind of halfway stick your light in for the moment. Flip it upside down or flip it right side up, however you want to look at it. Pull your zippers in to be sure everything's set and flat. And here's what I didn't do. You see right here, I gotta pull my harness back through the zipper. I forgot to feed it through the correct way. So then that's gonna hang over like that, or we may end up feeding it over like a chair. It just depends on whenever we start getting it in the Jeep, figure out which way we're gonna move it. Then get the whole end of your zipper, zip it up. Okay, for our material for the speaker for the 5x7s go in, because you got your magnet in your basket that has to sit down inside here. Press down, you can see the cutout right through here. So come back about an inch, split it, and come back. Ooh, mosquitoes. And bring it back. That way it gives you room for your magnet in your basket to go in. And the hindsight 2020, I shouldn't have went with the 5x7s. That was honestly, I think at this point, a mistake. What I bet probably would have been better off is staying with the same size factory speakers, but get some quality ones that have a good long woofer throw, so you got good mid bass, or possibly just mid range, because that size driver is kind of small. So that'd be more of a mid range tweets. Then back on the fenders, go with some 6x9s. I think that'd been a lot better option because you got a better sound stage that way, because you'd have your mid range and your tweets right above your head right there to give you some good sound stage there. But then your 6x9s will carry your mid bass up, and it'll carry that frequency range a lot better, and probably look better too, because this is kind of a hack job. I really should have paid more attention before I cut that. Oh well. I'll tell you what I'll do later on. I got skills when it comes to fiberglass. My dad and I've got two uncles who fiberglass. I mean, one uncle, he used to do like designing ground effects for cars and such. My dad's done everything from taxidermy molds to houseboats. Heck, I've done a lot of houseboat work, and I've done mold work for taxidermists and such. So yeah, we got the skills for fiberglass. What I mean by that, I might just make a custom soundbar later on to throw some 6x9s up inside there. Show you guys how to do a little custom molding and shape work on fiberglass. Fun stuff. I really like working with glass or fiberglass because you can really do artistic stuff but still functional. Really cool stuff. So I'm gonna put the ends on these speakers and get these things terminated in and get them screwed in place, and then we're gonna go to that light and I'm gonna show you what I'm doing with it. Okay, take your light, little tab right here, push your material down, be sure it's down good. Tuck that tab inside there, push it down, it locks in. This, take the lens out. And it's supposed to just snap in if it gets lined up correctly. There's that. There's that. There, got all 4 of them locked in. Then, da 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 da. Nah, we're not going back with the factory replacement stuff. No, not at all. I do all those upgrades for the headlights, for the LEDs. Come on, man. It's only fitting. Now do it for the interior light as well. Goes right inside here. Line it up. Push that board over. There we go. Sweet. Got a close up of that. Now see what you got. Oh, golly, a little bit of zoom there. So what you got to do is, you got your board here. It's got all your LED chips on it. When you put it in, you have to make sure you push your little tabs over here for a board to go in between your tabs. And it just locks in like that. Then we take the cover, and I don't know what I've done with it. Oh, there it is. Let me take our cover. Front tabs in first. Get them to go in. Push that. Ta-da! Sweet. So I'm gonna hook some power up to this thing so we can make that light turn on. See how bright it is. Okay, I've got the cover on right now so it don't freak the camera out when the light turns on. But you got it in the off position. Move it to the middle position. Light's not working. What's going on? I'll explain that in a moment. Then move it to the on position. Boom! Light is on. LEDs, they rock. I'll put a link down below to the replacement bulb to get rid of your cheap little old school glass bulb and put in some LEDs to light up your interior. Now let's put this in the middle position. Explain what's going on with that. Okay, got the camera moved back. Here's my ground. This red wire right here, that's my hot going to the battery. Well, this ground right here is going to be like if you got it bolted, whenever you have it bolted to your roll bar, that's how you're going to get your ground from the chassis. Now the yellow wire here, you ground that wire, boom, look there, see? Turning on the interior light. Now think about that for a moment. At what point in a vehicle's operation is it that whenever no switches are involved, a switch, well, no manual switches that you activate or pushed yourself, but that turns on the interior light. What has to happen whenever you get in and out of your vehicle? Because you got that pin switch that's normally inside your door there. Whenever you open your door, that pin switch expands outward, which closes a ground circuit. When it closes the ground circuit, it's closing the ground circuit on this wire here, closing the ground here, boom. So turning on your interior light whenever you open your door. So what can I do with that? Of course, I've got my switch here that I can turn on and off whatever I want to, whatever I'm driving, whatever the case may be. But I can figure out something. This right here, all I got to do is take a switch, ground it directly to the chassis somewhere, and which activate that wire, turn it on. I went ahead and ran it just in case I wanted it, or I don't know, maybe if I got wire switched to my tailgate or something, I don't know. But hey, it's there when I want it. So that's what that wire is for. You see how cool the LEDs are. And let's get you a little closer shot up on this. He's a little bit chipped. You can get back up here. Now I'll take the cover off. You guys can see the LED chip a little bit better. So we're in the middle position right now. Boom! The camera says, oh, I can't deal with that. So therefore, yeah, LEDs rock, people. So like I said, I'll put a link down below to the part number so you can replace your LEDs in your interior. Now take you a moment, get you some heat shrink, wrap it around your wires, which will help, keep them looking nice and neat as you run down the roll bar. Now I use 5/16 right here, which was kind of a struggle getting it over top of the wires and such. So step up to like a 3/8 or 1/2 inch heat shrink and they'll go on much easier. If bear in mind that you put that 1/2 inch on there, you got to think, golly, it's awful lot of room for those wires. But if you get quality heat shrink, you got like a 2-to-1 shrink ratio. So if it's 1/2 inch, it'll shrink down to about 1/4, and which will get a good wrap on the wires and everything and make them look nice and neat. So that'll help organize the wires too, coming down the roll bar as it goes into the factory harness. So heat shrink your wires, keep them looking good. Well, I got the sound bar thrown up here, got the wiring dropping down that way, and being that my holes were kind of cruddied up to begin with, I went ahead and retapped them for a 1/4-20, which you can pick up at any hardware store, and you don't require no funky fasteners like Torx. So run your 1/4-20 tab down through here. Just sit your sound bar back over top here, put your 1/4-20 bolts in, tighten them up, and your sound bar's fastened up top. Now the retapping of the 1/4-20 is totally up to you. If you still got your factory bolts and everything, go for it, not a problem. But I had to clean out my threads anyway because of all the rust and crud that was down inside the threads. So, and I had 1/4-20s laying around inside the shop, and so I didn't want to go get no metric ones. So there you go. Totally up to you if you want to retap them. Your call. On the ends, I just took some wire ties and stitched it down good to the spreader bar. And I got my wiring run on this side of the spreader bar and run down the bar there. I had my wires all bundled up while I was putting my sound bar in right there, so I wouldn't have to deal with a bunch of 15 feet worth of cable. But now I'm ready to run it. So I'm untying my cabling, and for those rigs who still have it in place right here, you can tuck your wiring inside here and go down this way. Then here's your little crossover piece here. Then it comes down under, comes out right there, and there's your loom, which goes all the way up underneath the dash. Sweet. Now, why would somebody want to keep two pieces of metal here? Those YJs out there who can relate, my e-brake don't work. Insurance, that's my e-brake right there. Got the wiring run through my loom. I got it run way up into the dash. Power coming out right by the fuse block right here. I think I got some of this mess out of the way. There's the fuse block. Speaker wires are on the way over to where the radio's gonna be. So what we gotta do now is find a power source to hook our light up to. Little test leads right here. These things are lifesavers. I've got a ground connection right there, which is just a screw in the firewall that goes up to my switches and various other things that requires ground. So what you gotta do is, what I gotta do is figure out how to do this and hold the camera at the same time. Bear with me for a second. You guys have no idea what it takes to do a YouTube channel. Right, let's see if this one is. So what's going to happen whenever I hit a power source. Now I've got the key off, because what I'm requiring for myself is that with the key off, I want power with the key off to go for the dome light switch when I turn it to the on position. And see right there, keys off, and I got power on that terminal. So that's where I'm going to hook up my spade connector. And see, just for a little completion, now if you go around touching different terminals and you got no power, that means those particular circuits have to have the key on. See, there's one right there with the key off. It powers up, but all the rest of them, the key requires to be on. So That's what I'm going to use. Look at the sky. Heard a lot of thunder a moment ago. So good thing I'm at the end of this little project right here. So hook it up to that power source right there, and if you like, put you a 5 amp inline fuse, because if you can't find a circuit that you can tie off to onto the wiring harness coming out of the fuse block, whenever you plug your spade, come right off of that with a little 5 amp fuse connector. Therefore you protect your wiring harness and all that type of stuff. So I'm going to put the haystone, because I think I'm about to get wet, because I didn't get the top back on my Jeep. So I'm going to hurry this up real quick, okay? Be back in a minute. 5x7s. Didn't fit exactly like I thought they were going to. I kind of thought I had enough room to stuff them in there. But overall, they don't look bad. If they would have came with grills, they would have actually looked pretty good. But hey, for 15 bucks, what do you expect? And I know when I ordered them, I didn't expect them. I expected them to come with grills. First time I've ever ordered or even bought speakers that didn't come with grills. But again, for 15 bucks, what do you expect? We'll just have to see how they sound. They gotta be better than those little wheezy 4 inches that was in here before. Interior light, or dome light should I say. I've got dome light. I feel all high tech now. Turn it on again. Just make myself feel good. Yay, see? I'm getting hit with raindrops. Okay, people. So I really got to wrap this up quick because I got raindrops falling. So if you like this video, hit me with a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and leave me some cool comments down below. I gotta go. It's raining. Get the top on. Peace out. Later, y'all. Y'all are probably wondering, why in the heck is he filming in the dark? Well, if you got an interior light or your dome light inside your Jeep, you kind of got a pretty good idea of how well it lights up the interior, right? Look at that. Now I can't tilt the camera down. It goes. Yeah, camera kind of freaking out a little bit. But yeah, LEDs, people, seriously. I'll put a link down below in the description for you guys to pick these LEDs up. But I just wanted to show you how well it lights up the interior. Very cool. A little different view for you. You can definitely tell the difference between no tint and tint. Kind of makes you think of one of those creepy horror movie scenes where somebody's about to get eaten alive by a Martian that's glowing inside the Jeep. Ah! Okay, enough of that.